Bum bum bum. We're live. Yay. I don't need that playing, but thanks anyways, YouTube. All right, let's get with the program. So, I need some textures. Kind of need some textures pretty badly, actually. I should take a quick little peeky look-see here. See if I don't have a texture pack that's 128. I probably don't. I don't know what would be 128. Oh, wait, it's this Drummy Fish. Oh, there's a 128 texture pack from Drummy Fish. What's the license? Licensing for information, please. Is there? There's README, okay. Hi-Res 128. License is Creative Commons 1.0. Okay. So let's just try this real quick. That would be default not pick. Okay, well, what is the pickaxe then? Stone pick? No? Okay, well. Oh. I mean, they're not horrible. I might use this. But maybe not. Maybe I'll just make something in Blender. All right. So anyways, I'm holding a stone pickaxe here. It doesn't look like a stone pickaxe, but I promise it is. I discovered a bug which I partially fixed. So this is metal here. Texture doesn't exist. But I have 27 metal lumps and I can break it. And now I have 28 metal lumps, 29, 30, which is great. If I go to this other one over here, this is the other metal variant. And you watch my quantities, they go up by 2, which, isn't exactly what we want. I discovered the issue and have solved the issue in one of them. So, turns out it was actually pretty simple. I just have to check the old metadata field first. And if the old metadata field exists, then I run this code. The old method, it has both in here. Well, that's not really what I want. The old method checked if the existing node had metadata and if it was 0, which for some reason it always set to 0, but the old metadata comes through correctly. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me why it works that way, but that's the way it works. So, problem solved. So I basically just need to copy this and paste it over this one. Changing, of course, all of my metal 2s to metal 1. And then I actually need to do this to the stones as well, because turns out the stones are also giving you 2 stones per dig. And I just somehow never noticed that, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. I believe it's just called stone. Pretty sure. And then we're adding this to stone, and we're swapping the node here to stone_1. So we can just copy the entirety of this. Oh, what do you know? It says I'm not sending enough data through again. What is the issue with my internet here? I don't get it. And then we just change all of the stone 1s to stone 2. Oops. And this should make everything work. So now if we go back into the game here and use my pickaxe, this should only give me 1 piece of metal per dig, which is what it's doing. And then we'll come to this big stone. Let me see. I have 85 stone here, so this should just go up to 86, 87, 88. Nice. And then I need to find the kind of peachish kind of color stone. Right here one is. Let's check this out just to make sure this is all working as it should be. And then that'll be that problem solved. 89, 90, 91. Excellent. So that's all working as it should be. Now, I added a few more things for craft recipes. so we can make a workbench. I'm going to have to give you one to start with because you're not going to have the normal player inventory to craft in. So the workbench is craftable with 5 metal ingots, 4 logs, and 12 planks. I did adjust the pricing on some of these other items as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. Now I'm coming to the point in the in the game where we want to start thinking about this is fun. I gotta show you this because this is kind of hilarious. So if you're trying to dig a stone and you're not holding a pickaxe, you can punch away at it. Oh wait, yeah, you just punch it, not dig. You punch it, and occasionally you'll take damage, and you'll get a chat message when you do take damage that you should try using a pickaxe next time. I don't know why it stopped doing. Oh, there we go. We took some damage. Oh, and that time we got some stone. Occasionally you'll get stone too. So yeah, there's that. The metal, you can punch this all you want. You'll never get metal out of it, but you will get damaged. And when you take damage, it will tell you try using a pickaxe next time. So I thought that was a fun little tidbit. Just, because we need that, I guess. So anyways, I was contemplating, deliberating, thinking about mobs. Because there needs to be something that is, trying to do something bad that you're fighting against, because it's kind of boring. And I sort of realized my entire system doesn't work for mobs. So not good. However, I think I've developed figured out a workaround. Hey, Dog of War, welcome back to another stream. You'll help with mobs. Oh boy. All I really need, I need some crazy sound effects. I was thinking maybe try to get the kids to make some goofy sounds. I think that would be hilarious. To just have these completely random and then run some effects on them. Some, I don't know, reverb or something. Just to make them sound kind of really crazy. So here's kind of the thing. Actually, let's jump back in game to demonstrate this better. So this is a long-range beacon way up top here. Which long-range beacons you can't click on yet, which is unfortunate. Short-range ones you can. So this short-range beacon is linked to one other beacon, which is fine. That's really not the important part. The important thing is the entirety of how beacons data is stored is kind of predicated, is that the right word? On the player name. So when we look at the code for a beacon here, hopefully this is large enough that it comes through. Pretty much anything here, we have the beacons, all of the data is stored, player name and the key. The key is the position as a string. Player name obviously is the player name. Now if I want to make it so that mobs will try to dismantle, I don't know if dismantle is necessarily the right word, but they're going to make them inoperable. And the chances of their attack being successful on the beacon is directly inversely proportional. Is that the right mathematical terminology to that? Basically, I need to know how many links are on a beacon to know whether or not the mob's attack is successful. But I need to know the player's name in order to get that data. Guess what? Crazy thing. I wasn't even thinking far enough forwards when I wrote this code, but believe it or not, I set a string in metadata to the player name. I don't think I have used this at all. I don't even think I remembered that it was there. Because I was thinking about this and I was like, how do I pull up any of the data? Because the number of linked beacons it's not actually stored in the node. It's stored in a database referenced by the node's position. But in order to get that bit of information, you need to know who owns the beacon. And I didn't think I knew who owned the beacon. turns out I do know who owns the beacon because I was setting that bit of information from the get-go. But I don't think I ever pulled this information. I don't remember ever writing any code that did. So, huge problem. Turns out it's not a problem, and I just didn't realize that I was already storing all of this data. So all of the beacons in my world right now already have all the information I need to make them work. I was expecting I would have to delete the world. Not a big deal. And kind of start over, which I have done multiple times already in this one world because I keep losing my home position because you can't save a home position. So that is an issue, but it's not an issue because it's already solved. So that's cool. Now the new thing, and I think what we're going to be working on today. So here's the plan. I gotta kind of get this written down. Game Jam is half done, pretty much. It's 3 weeks, and tomorrow is a week and a half. But I won't be streaming tomorrow because we have pre-existing events. This upcoming Friday, all night stream. It's gonna be a late stream, so I'll start a little late. I'll have it scheduled. The wife and kids, like this sleepover moms event thing. Whatever. I'm not a mom, so I can't go. Boo-hoo. But because it's just gonna be me, I'm gonna be up to like 2 a.m. streaming. That's the plan, at least, getting some stuff figured out, and that's gonna be the big push for mobs. What we need to get done now is metal lumps to ingots. So metal ingots are a thing, sort of. So I can go ahead and do give me ls items metal underscore ingot. It exists. That has no texture. Metal ingot. Now we need to like cook the metal lumps into ingots. Our energy source is beacons. That is our energy in the world. We don't collect coal to cook things. We put our furnace someplace where it links up with beacons. I'm hoping I can do this. I didn't really develop the code with this in mind. It should be easy enough to adapt. The only thing I need is for the furnace to not be treated as a beacon, I guess. Which I don't really know what difference that makes. So we're going to start that. I don't know which mod to put this in. I have a handful. We have LS Core, which is like core things that multiple mods rely on. A Wi-Fi world. Yeah, kind of, sort of. It's kind of what it is. Why do I have a game conf? No, that should be a mod conf in there. That's silly of me. How did I manage to mess that up? So anyway, the LS core pretty much has functions and nodes. The nodes is an invisible node. Wow, that's cool, but I needed it in multiple other nodes and mods and I didn't feel like making it in multiples. And then the functions is basically some space related things. This is used for the workbench to make sure that the space next to it's available, and then it places an invisible node in it. And then we have one that checks the space on top, which I don't think I actually use this at all, but for the torch, I probably should to make sure that there's a node space above it. So that's kind of a cores. Then we have crystal, which is the crystal stuff. Items, obviously, is the items. Map is map gen, but also for some weird reason is the stone and the trees. Okay, and then we have nodes, which is... Oh, that's the two walls, or the wall and the floor. It's very, very well structured. Makes a lot of sense how everything's broken down. We have the player, which is obviously player. That one actually makes sense. Stations, that one makes sense as well. And then tools has the pickaxe and the shovel. I guess I do have to get swords as well. One fun thing with the shovel and the pickaxe... Oh, actually, I guess I have to look at the pickaxe. I don't know if it's necessarily a fun thing. Stone in the trees. No, not particularly. The wooden pickaxe to the stone pickaxe is a negligible speed increase. So you go from taking 1 second to dig a level 1 to 0.95 seconds. You probably won't even notice it. The bigger increase here is in your number of uses. So you double the number of uses on digging stone, and you actually triple the number of uses digging metal. I think I am going to add a metal variant of the tools as well, which will be somewhat faster to like a noticeable amount, and then your number of uses will be quite a bit larger. So right now your tools wear out. If you're using a wooden pickaxe to try to harvest metal, it's going to wear out pretty quick. You're going to want to be using a stone pickaxe to harvest metal. But there's got to be levels of progression, and you got to balance everything to make the difficulty fun, but not too easy, but not too hard. And it's a whole thing. So I'm thinking maybe probably should put the furnace in crystal, huh? Because that's where I have all the functions. We're dropping lights, we're putting in lights, we're checking the torches. Actually, the torches are in crystal too, so it would make sense to put the furnace in here. So we're going to go ahead and create a new file. And we're just going to call it furnace.lua. And then in here, we're going to do a core register node. And we're going to call this ls_crystal furnace. Do I need on and off variants? I don't really think so. The only benefit I could see to that would be an on furnace could light up and the off furnace wouldn't. But because we don't really have flames, I think I might be better off just using a particle system, honestly. Why do two nodes when I can just use one node and have a particle system run? It's a little more visible from a distance, potentially, depending on where you're standing and stuff. Pickaxe made of steel. That's the plan, but first steel needs to become a thing, so we need a furnace to cook the steel. This should become a mesh, and it should probably be multiple nodes take up the space of multiple nodes. But for the time being, it's not going to be any of that, and we'll just change that all later if we have time. The core functionality is what matters. The polish and the pizzazz and the pop and the textures and the models, that can all come later. Particles can be laggy. Yes, they can, but oh well, I guess. If you're playing on a potato, I'm sorry. We'll just call it a furnace. Why not? Why come up with a fancy name? Just call it what it is. It's a furnace. We're gonna call it a furnace, okay, man? And then it does need tiles. I don't know what the tiles are gonna be, so we'll just, I guess, do ls crystal_ furnace.png, because that sounds like as good as a name as any to me. Now we do need groups. We'll just go ahead and use the same that the beacon uses, so breakable 2. Should it be non-blocking? I'm not sure what beacons. I think beacons was just for an ABM to run on. I don't know if this needs that running. I'll go ahead and give it furnace off the bat. Probably won't need that, but we'll go ahead and do it anyways. Non-blocking. Should this not block? I think it does need to be considered non-blocking because it's the end point. And if it's not considered non-blocking, I'd have to look at the functions. Okay, so if we're doing find beacon, just show me the actual function. Here we go. Okay, we're doing a raycast. If core get item group node name non-blocking. Okay. Local count 0. Get item group beacons. So I think I do need to have non-blocking in there. Otherwise, it will not work. So we'll go ahead and do that. That's no big deal. Are we going to have a light source on it? See, that's the thing. It would kind of make sense to have a light source. I'm just going to go ahead and give it one, and we'll just put it really low. Light source equals like 4. Just so it'll kind of light itself up, but it won't. I won't light up too much, Okay, so we're going to do an after place node equals function, which will be position and placer. I didn't want to do that. We are going to need the metadata. Do we need metadata? Oh, yeah, we do, because we need to store the player name in it so we can do player things. Get meat. Okay, that's not quite what I wanted. I could go for some meat, though. A nice steak. Player platter. Player name equals placer. Get player name. And then we're going to do a meta set string. We'll go ahead and give it an info text, just so people realize that it's a node they can interact with. Info text, we're just going to call it furnace. Oops, it's going to be, and then meta set string of, what is this, player name, and we want that to equal player name. Sweet. Okay, now update lights. It doesn't put out any lights, so we don't need any worrying. We don't need to check or worry about that. The on-place beacon is not what we want to be doing in here. I suppose I should close this out just to make the error go away. We don't want to be doing the on-place beacon here because that does things that we don't want done. What we want to do, I think, is just find beacons. If it finds a beacon, what does it do? It links the beacon if it finds beacons. But when it links a beacon, then that adds a link. Do I want to consider the furnace as a link? Okay, so where's the link beacon? Here we go. Link beacon. Okay, so we're checking the two positions. So that'll be the position of the furnace and then whatever we happened to find, beacons-wise. If it's already linked, we wouldn't do anything. But this is going to update the lights. Ugh. I really don't want that. Because the furnace isn't going to have lights. I'm going to have to write a new function. That stinks. No, I really don't want to do that. This also is maybe not the best of system to be using. Because this literally goes through every single beacon that the player has placed. They could be thousands of nodes apart. Wonder how expensive a vector distance check is. Because I could be running it hundreds of times if you had a bunch of beacons put out. That might not be the best. Okay, well, you know what I could do? I could do this. Because this is, well, maybe instead of link, I could call it check. And then, see, sometimes stupid is the easiest solution. Check. Yeah, I think I know what the link find beacons thing is doing. Okay. And we're just going to do, or do I even do that as a local? I don't think so. I think I just do check equals check or false. So then the only time that check matters, it's only in new functions I write where I put in the word true that it'll matter. So all of my old functions I can not include check and it won't matter. Because all I'm trying to do then oh no, wait, I'm already doing, I'm an idiot. The torches already do this. I think. Do they? I gotta look at the torches. I think the torches already check. I think I already wrote this code so that the torches would work. Where are the torches at? Are they just in nodes? I didn't put them in their own? Crazy. Okay, here we go. Blah, 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 blah. After place node, LS Crystal find beacons. Player name and position. So if it didn't find beacons, so this is just returning true or false. Interesting. So when the torch does this, we're checking if it's not blocked. This would be, it linked the beacons. So if the node is beacons, it's going to link the beacons. Otherwise, it just returns true. But it doesn't return a count of the beacons. I need a count of the beacons that it's linking to, which this will not give me because this runs once for every single instance. Is there a way for me to do this? I mean, there is. Is it a great way? It's a little more questionable. I would have to look at every time where I'm looking at the return, which I think is only on the torches, honestly. So it may not be an issue. That's not the node I wanted. Here we go. If not, I think that's probably the only place I actually do this. So what if I change this from, instead of returning a truthy or falsy, I could change it. Well, there's two ways I could do this. Oh boy. Instead of returning true, I could return a count, which would be easy enough to do, because all I would have to do is above here, I would just do local count. Oh, nope, not count. Count's already used. Local num of beacons equals 0. And then I would just come in here, and every place where it says return true, I would just say num of beacons equals, wow, num of beacons plus 1. And then I would do the same thing down here, actually. Would that be the right place? Because when I hit a return, I don't think the code continues running. It finds one return, and it's like, nope, we're done. So maybe that doesn't work. Because I could return the number of beacons. But I think once it hits this return, the code no longer executes. Wait a second, though. If the item group node name, what's node? What is node? Node is target node position, so that's itself. So this is the one that you just placed, then? Man, I don't even know what my own code's doing. This is the node that I just placed. So if the node I just placed is a beacon, then we're going to link beacons. Otherwise, I don't think this will, well, I guess we could just do this just to see what happens. And I'll go ahead and I'll put that here as well. And if we see this number incrementing, I guess that means it's working? Maybe? I do need to call that function then, don't I? Which may or may not work. This could just crash in a ball of fire. Player name and position, I do have both of those, so that's fine. We're only finding beacons. It shouldn't link anything because it's not a beacon. It's not in the beacons group. Okay, I do need to make this mod actually load and run, because otherwise You know the code won't do anything. Do file mod path, and then this is oops, whoops. And we want to do furnace.luet. There we go. Now, the moment of truth. Give it a radius. Dog of War says. Just a radius to the furnace itself. I suppose I could do that, and then just find all nodes within that radius of beacons. But I kind of want to have the whole line of sight deal still going on here, which is why I want to do it this way. Give me, I don't even know what this thing's called. LS Crystal Furnace. Hey, there we go. Has no texture. That's fine. I don't know why I didn't just render a fake texture. Okay, I need some place where this will be visible to that. So maybe I'll put a little pile of gravel in, just so it's not being blocked by anything. And it crashes. That's good. Attempt to index global meta, nil value in furnace, line 9. What? Did I have it accidentally spelled as meat? Line 9. Oh, local metal. Yeah, okay, that would explain things. Okay, well, let's destroy that quickly before it causes an error. Okay, it placed. And we're getting a count of 1. Do I have a line of sight to that? I do. But is this close enough to be considered in the line of sight? I don't know. So I guess what we're going to do... Oh, gravel doesn't fall. Good to know. I may want to change that. Oh, I didn't mean to put that there. Oops. I meant to put a beacon here. I'm sorry. Excuse me, what? Where did my thing go? It's returning 1, but it definitely should be linkable to both of these. Interesting. I have a feeling because a light places there, the light probably overrode that. Which is not supposed to happen. Should definitely not happen, so let's check that out. We have update lights, blah, blah, blah. Drop lights. Okay, drop lights. If new node name equals error, or if it equals invisible light. Wait a second. What? If new node name equals error, I equals I plus 1, which is correct. If new node name is invisible light, then we subtract What? I don't think that's right. We subtract I, but why are we subtracting I? We should be subtracting 1, or adding 1, shouldn't we? I think that bit of code was wrong. Core remove node new position. No, wait a second. What are we... I shouldn't be changing that at all. If new position is invisible light... Something not right there. Try this again. Let's see if that kills my... No, what's going on? It's 1 node higher than itself. New node name invisible light. Well, it wouldn't be in that. If new node name does not equal error, which in this case it doesn't, I equals I minus 1. Just putting it 1 node up. Oh, I see. So it's finding a node that's not error, and then it's saying, well, the node directly above that must be error. Which would make sense because we're counting down. But this is higher than the initial count. Very interesting. That's interesting. I don't know if this still needs to be there then. If new node name is invisible light, or is in the group invisible light, then removing. Yeah, I don't know why this was ever. I shouldn't have been changing the position of it if invisible light existed. Or wait, new node name. New node name is the new node position. Yeah, so I don't think that line should have existed. I'm probably breaking code now. Okay, this is going to be a problem. Y equals I minus 1. So it's going up 1. I guess I would have to do... Let's just try this. I have a feeling if I print I, that I is going to be a negative number. In which case I could just... I should put anything there, honestly. I should just be able to check if the number is negative. And if the number is negative, not do it. Okay, well, I printed out a lot of A's and a lot of I's. I do see some negative 1s in here, which is telling me there's an issue. So all I have to do is throw in a check. If I is greater than 0, greater than or equal, actually, greater than or equal to 0, then go ahead and do this. Otherwise, it's putting lights higher than itself, which it shouldn't do because it's dropping lights. And dropping usually means it's going lower, not higher. In my experience, anyway. Let's put another floor node here and let's break our beacon. Let's replace our beacon. And it didn't destroy that. So that's fixed. Good. I'm glad it was an easy to solve bug. Now, back to the furnace issue. Okay, so this... Uh-oh. Why can't I right click on it? Are we caught in a loop? What's going on? Yeah, it looks like we're caught in a loop. I don't really know why, though. Is it because of this? If I is greater than or equal to 0, then... Is it trying to place like a giant light sources? That's not what we want. It shouldn't be doing that, though. Should it? I mean, I can always do this. If 20 is greater than I think I might need to do and I is greater than or equal to 0. No, wait, that's backwards. This needs to be if... No, wait. No, I had that right. Okay, well, fortunately we have the good old kill it. Oh, wow. There we go. The good old kill it available to us. So we can kill things. That's probably going to get me in trouble with YouTube for using that word. Oh, well. Okay, well, it's doing something to that, which is not what I had anticipated, but that's fine. Are you serious right now? Where is this loop? It's got to be here. I don't understand, though. Well, I guess we just take that bit of code out, because that'll prevent this from being an issue. There is another way to solve the problem. It's not the method I would prefer to use. I didn't know I could do that, but it will work. So firstly, let's make sure that we can place the beacon and we don't... Okay, and it removed the thing, so we can be pretty sure we're not in a soft lock. Would that be a soft lock or would that be a hard lock? I don't even know. Okay, so what we're going to do... If new node name is not air, then I equals I minus 1, which makes I 1 lower than it was. And then we have a new position with I. So then what we need to do is check that I is air, which sort of annoying, but whatever. So we can do, we can actually just do new node again. Because it's already defined as a local. New node, new position, and then we just do if new underscore node dot name equals air, then we'll go ahead and set the light source there. I don't think that needed to be indented as such. I think it could have stayed like that. There, now that should theoretically be fixed. So it won't place lights higher than itself. So if we place some planks there, bada boom, bada bing, didn't place a light, so that's good. That's what we wanted. Let's go ahead and get the furnace again. So that's give me ls underscore crystal furnace. Bada boom, bada bing. And we can place that, and it says 1, which would be this. But it should also be linking to this, because this is linking to that. Which tells me that there's something wrong. So I can also do this, just for funsies. You can make this... I need to increase the pointing range. Wow. That's awful. We can throw one here. Okay. So now this should be linking to 3 beacons. Yep, this one I think, to 3 beacons as well. Nice, nice. And the furnace doesn't seem to be giving me any useful information. It is calling find beacons. I can close this now because that's fixed. Good old find beacons. We're not trying to do any of these. We're just trying to find the beacons. We can also eliminate that. Not eliminate, but collapse. Makes it less distracted. Okay, so we have a number of beacons. And this is stopping to look. Oh, I didn't even know you were gone, Dogivore. Well, I think you're the only person watching. That's cool. You have my undivided attention. Your radius idea might be man, that might be what I gotta go with because this ain't working so hot. Number of beacons when I return true, then it stops processing anything else. Is there any other way to do this, though? I could put it... Okay, so these returning true... Should this return true, though? Like, what does this return true do way down here? I don't even know why that's there. Trouble is I'm afraid to remove it because something will break if I remove it. If other beacons... What? If not... So that would be... So this is returning true. If not true... It never returns false. I don't think that function actually does what it's supposed to do. Does it ever return false? I don't think so. I'm just returning true everywhere. Yeah, I think this bottom one should be false. And then let's just do this. Print found no beacons. All right, and then I can... let's see. I'll go to... I just gotta, like, I don't know, find a little cave or something to place a torch in. So here's a torch. I could always dig a hole too, but that sounds like a lot of work. Hey, perfect. A little cave thing. There's no way that this is going to reach any beacons. It didn't print anything. What? What's going on here? Is it because it already returned true? But it couldn't return true because if count equals 0. What is wrong? If core get item group node name non-blocking, count equals count plus 0 end. So that should be counting everything in the array. Oh, you know what? I could be too far away though. If other beacons. I mean, I guess there's always going to be other beacons, won't there? Unless it was the first node you ever placed. That would be the only time that this would actually return false. So I think maybe I need to put one in somewhere else. So let's see, where else could we do this? For in the other beacons, if other position. Okay, distance variant. I don't know what my own code does. This is bad. If other position, then we're going to check the distance between this one and the other position. Then we're going to get the data of the other position. I'm assuming, yep, key comes from other position. And we're going to get the variant to know if it's a long range or a short range. Then we're going to do the array. Point at things in array. If it's not non-blocking, we'll give it a count of 1 for everyone in the array, and that returns count here. So let me check the count. If count is 0, which is the count ever actually 0? Oh yeah, because it's only counting the non-blocking items. Or sorry, it's only counting the blocking items. So that would be correct. But it's going to do this for every one of these. So I would have to have number of beacons stored here. And then here, but I'm returning a value here. So I'd have to have like return value and then return value. That would be a wee bit confusing, I think. But let's try this. If I take these return trues out, and then we go here. So we're going straight down to wherever this ends, to this end. So then I think I would do... No, that's not right. Would I do it here? But I can't really do it here, can I? Maybe I can. But I have an end, and I feel like I can't have an end. The end has to be after the return? Doesn't it? I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like this is not how you're supposed to do this. We want num of beacons. I don't think this is... No, maybe this is right. No, you know what? Okay, this makes more sense. That looks better. Okay, and then we're going to say found some beacons? Question mark? Okay, let's see what happens. So now, if we put this torch in, it says found some beacons, question mark, but returns a number of beacons at just completely nothing, which, okay, that's interesting. Not quite what I anticipated. So let's go ahead and put another little walkie poo out here and put a torch on it. Found some beacons, but it's not giving me a value of beacons. Oh, duh. 'Cause I'm kind of stupid. I'm not printing number of beacons. I'm returning number of beacons, which is never being printed. Okay. I think we can make this a little more useful information. By doing something like this. Print found num of beacons. I feel like this might be a little more useful to know. All right, let me break this torch. Let me place the torch. It says it found 0 beacons. Well, okay, that ain't right. I mean, oh, I forgot. It does count from the bottom of it. What if I place one on top of it? I mean, you can't really tell me that's not finding the beacon. Okay. So that's not right. Local number of beacons is 0. And then if core get item group node name beacons is greater than or equal to 1. Oh no, wait a second. I'm so confused. I should have put comments in. I don't know what any of this is doing. How did I write this code? I don't even understand it. It's my own code. If count is 0, that's 0 non-blocking items. Then we're getting the node that is itself. And if it is a beacon, we're linking the beacons. And this is the node itself. So in my case, this would not be. So we would be adding, and this only runs if the count's 0, which would mean it found beacons. Because, oh wait, is the torch non-blocking? I hope it is, but maybe it's not. Okay, it is. I was gonna say that'd be pretty embarrassing if it wasn't. Non-blocking. Okay, so all the torches are non-blocking, so they should not be counting this. I think torches link call the find beacons. You know, though, let me actually make sure of that. Maybe they don't. That would be... well, this is a dead torch. I don't even know why I have an on place on a dead torch. I let you put out dead torches? That's kind of stupid. Why would anybody ever want to do that? Yeah, it does. After place node, it does call the find beacons. So, either way, it should still be giving me the same results. But I suppose I could try placing the... Oh, that's kind of crazy. Oh, never mind. I could try placing the furnace. Its output should be the same. Found 0 beacons. No, I mean, there's definitely 2 beacons you should be linking to. Maybe this one too. You can't tell me that. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh. 7 o'clock. Found 0 beacons. Okay. This is bogus. It's bogus, man. It's bogus. Why is it not working? It can't find 0 beacons when there's a beacon there. I don't get it. If we have a beacon, you know what though is weird? I'm not getting a printout from this at all. If beacons is greater than or equal to 1. Node name isn't in beacons. It shouldn't be. Where's my groups? Definitely not in beacons. I mean, it should have. That's a good question, though. Furnace. Let's put the furnace over here so we can see what it's doing. LS crystals, find beacons. Player name, position. Player name we have here, and positions obviously there. So it is doing that. I don't... If count is 0, so let's just do print nothing blocking path. And then we do print node is a beacon. And then we do print node is not a beacon. And we'll just check that real quick. And then I got to boogie. Found 0 beacons. Is it not linking to the long range? Because that code is only under the long range. I got short range right there, so let's... This doesn't make any sense. Short range, if count is 0, nothing blocking path. Then we have... If it's beacons, we'll print it's a beacon. Otherwise, we'll print node is not a beacon. Okay, we dig this. Found 0 beacons. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Key data in pairs other beacons. Other beacons. It's crystal data player name, which definitely exists. Well, does it though? Maybe that's the issue. I don't know how that would be the issue. But maybe that's the issue. There are other beacons. Okay, so there are other beacons. So that bit's working. So now I don't know what the issue is. Distance from position and other position. Other position we get from the table. Just one more quick test. And then it'll be a quick break. Intermission, as it were. Oh. Well, no, that's weird. That's really weird. So now I get, there are other beacons. Okay, cool. Then, oh, no, I need to see that. Then there is an other position, which again is cool. Then we have nothing blocking path. Node is not a beacon. And then the number 1. But then this never runs around that loop. No, wait, yes it did. Found 1 beacon. Which isn't really accurate because there's at least 2 beacons it should have found. Now, the trouble is, I don't know if this is finding long range or short range because I used the exact same text on both. Rookie mistake right there. Rookie mistake. Yeah, so I guess we'll just do one of these numbers so you can watch particles float around. Ooh, big deal. So much fun. And then I will be back in like 15 minutes or so. So, use the restroom, get a drink of water, work out for 10 minutes, tell a family member you love them. I don't know. I'll be back shortly. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. We're back. Wait, what? What is going on here? Why is this coming up so many times? What? Should I be led to believe that... Oh, you know, isn't there an ABM that calls that function? I think there is. Yeah, every 10 seconds with a chance of 2. Let's make that not run. Because that's throwing a lot of extra data out here that's not helping me. Okay, so this is going to be nothing blocking LR path, LR beacon, and then nothing blocking SR path, SR beacon, SR beacon. All right, let's see what this gives us this go around. Okay, I need to find this, dig this, replace it. There are other beacons. There is another position, found 0 beacons. It's ignoring the linked ones. Is it ignoring the linked ones? No, I don't think so. The actual link beacons check ignores already linked beacons so that they're not linked to multiple times, but this function, it just finds all the beacons. It doesn't matter if they're linked or not. So that shouldn't be. There is another position. I'm definitely within range of these short range here's. This long range I should be in range of as well. So it should be working on all of these. Data variant, which has to exist because otherwise there would be no other position, right? Player name key, because this is part of this. If variant long range and distance is less than long range distance and distance is greater than 0, then we're doing a raycast between the two. You know what? Let's just do this. Print node.name. Let's just see what happens. This is in the long range, so it should print out a whole bunch of air nodes is what it should do. It should say, wow, I found a ton of air nodes. And if we don't get that, okay, why am I not getting a bunch of air nodes? Okay, so here's an idea. Let's place... Okay, I'm really confused now. What? What? What did I break? How is the beacon not even linking to beacons anymore? What have I done? What have I done? There are other beacons. I just broke my whole game. There are other beacons. Okay. Yes. There is another position. Okay. None of this is running? Does it have something to do with this? Is this return too soon? For key, if other position. I wonder if that's what's breaking this. I don't see how it could be. But at this point, I don't know what's going on anymore. Okay, I think I need to break this and replace it. Okay. So awkward. Turns out that this breaks everything. Which I really don't understand. So I'm going to try to put it underneath this and see if that still breaks everything. Maybe I just had that in the wrong line, which would be wild. Okay. Wow. Gouge my eyes out and string me up on a totem pole. That's probably racially insensitive to the Indians. I don't care. Wow. 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 Guess what? I found 4 beacons. Now, is that the only time that printed out? I think it did. There are other beacons. There's another position, nothing blocking the short range. 1, 2, 3, 4. So someplace I'm printing the number of beacons, yeah. And then this only runs once. Okay. So that's so embarrassing. How much time did I waste? Then multiply it by the number of people that will ever, throughout all of time, watch the stream of their time that was also wasted because I was wasting my own time, and by extension therefore wasting theirs because they're watching. That's a lot of time. Okay. So now, allegedly, before I save all those prints that I removed, let's go back to my little cave. Where was that cave at? Oh, here's the little cave. It's a much smaller cave, but it'll work. We don't need a big cave. All I need is a little something to put a torch in. Oh, that's not good. Attempt to index a nil value. Oh, wait. This is in functions, line 74. Uh-oh. Wait, for pointed thing and ray do. What? It was just working. What did I accidentally remove that I shouldn't have removed? I thought I just removed a bunch of print statements. Yeah, that's literally all I did. Attempt to index a nil value, line 74. Functions Lua. Line 74. Other beacons, LS Crystal Data player name, this key, beacons list. Oh. Yeah, our torch doesn't store a list of the beacons it's linked to. Because this function does too much. I should have broken the function up into smaller functions that were more easily manageable. Because this is trying to unlink beacons. I'm not trying to... You know what I need to do, actually? This is a sort of an easy fix, actually. But I do need to do it twice. So when we have this unlink beacons, all I need to do is say... but I don't have the node. I just need to check if the node is a beacon. And if the node is a beacon, then we can unlink. And if it's not, then we don't. So that's not so terribly impossible. Position to string from this key. No, wait, from position. Okay, so have I ever gotten node from position that's available at this point? I don't think... Oh, wait, no, I have a local node existing here, pointed thing under. That is not the node I want. I need this position as a node. I don't think I have it, which is fine. So we will just do, well, we have this key. So we'll just do local this node equals core get node position. And then all I have to do is, oops, not that one, this one, right? So we copy this. So now we're checking, hey, is this node name, or is this node within the beacons group? And if it is, then we can go ahead and unlink it. And I think I then need to copy this and put it in the short range as well in the same place, which should be right here. And then we want to indent all of this. Do that. Hopefully that fixes it. So I can break the torch, place the torch. Hey! Okay, it found 0 beacons, which, surprise, surprise, when you're in a hole in the ground, wow, who'd have thunk that you wouldn't find any beacons? Now if we place it, oh, I don't know, here, it also found 0 beacons, which I guess I could see that because, you know, I'm checking from the bottom of the torch, not the top of the torch. That found 3 beacons. Okay, well, that's doing exactly what I needed to do. So now I can go ahead and remove all of these print statements, I think. I'm probably going to stumble upon some other bug and then have to put them all back in to debug what's going on. It's great when that's the way I debug code is. I'm just putting a bunch of print statements and see what's working and where it's breaking down. Okay, found no. You know, I'm gonna leave those 2 in because that might be useful information for me to be able to see. So we're gonna take these out, and we're gonna take this out. Okay, so now I need to go back to the torch, and I need to change this. Because the function's returning the number of beacons. So all I need to do here is do if ls crystals find beacons is greater than or equal to 1, then, oh wait, no, I take that back. If it's 0, if it found 0 beacons, then we're starting the timer for 10 minutes and we're going to burn the torch out at the end of that. And I should be doing that in torch this and torch the other torch wall. Wait, is that the only? You know what? That is the only one that actually has to do that. I think. You know, I don't know. We're going to find out. We're going to find out right now. We're going to print placed node. And then we'll see when this actually runs. Because this might only run on... And I bet it does because my wall torches have never burnt out. And I've been wondering about that. Found 1 beacon. Okay, and we get the placed node. So that one ran the on place. We're going to come way over here, far beyond the reach of any of our beacons. We're definitely more than 50 nodes away. I'm going to place it on the side of this wall here. Not really a wall, but you know what I mean. We can make it more of a wall by doing that. There, now it's more of a wall. We're going to place a torch here. Okay. Well, that's a convenient bug to discover. So it turns out when you placed a torch and it turned into a wall torch, after place node doesn't run. So it would never burn out, which explains a lot of things because they never burnt out and I didn't understand why they didn't. Well, now I know. So this is the on-wall torch, which does drop the non-wall torch. So we're going to go ahead and do all of this. Oh, and then we do need to change this to be torch underscore wall underscore 0. I'm surprised that I didn't have that in here at all. It's a little awkward. Okay, so now I'm going to have to dig up all these torches, which not a big deal really, mate. And then let's place a torch, see what happens. Hey, place node, found 0 beacons. I bet that means in 10 minutes that torch will be burnt out. I ain't going to sit around for 10 minutes to see if it burns out, but hey, good to know at least. It's always good to accidentally discover errors in your code. Maybe I'll just put a little tower here so I can maybe see it from over there and remember to come back. Now, what if a beacon is introduced? I don't know what happens if a beacon's introduced. I don't think anything, honestly. I think if you put a beacon in after there's already a torch there, it never accounts for anything. Unless one of these ABMs, maybe. There's too many ABMs, man. Particle timer. Check beacons. Burns out torches. Burns out torches? Yeah, okay. So yeah, if you put a torch and there's not a beacon there, and then you add the beacon, the torch is still going to burn out. Because the timer's already started. So I guess I need to... I need another ABM's probably easiest. Oh, hey, you know what? I got to change this too. Because I don't think if not will work. If that equals 0. I should probably do a check through all the code here. See every place that's used and see crystal on place beacon. Okay, we don't care about that. What that's returning. We don't care about that. Oh, this one does matter. I just need to turn it back on. Every 10 seconds, a chance to... that's probably fine. Okay, that's what we want. So that's the only instances of it in this. It should only exist in this one mod, so I shouldn't have to look at anything else. If crystal find beacon, so this must be for the torch already. Okay, so I think that is all. That should all be fixed. Back to the furnace. Okay, so this is now returning a number, which mattered for some reason, but now I don't really know why it mattered. I mean, I do need it, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I need it in this. But we're just going to do local, we'll call it links. Maybe we shouldn't. Beacon count would probably be better. I don't want to be like I was just 15 minutes ago. I had no idea what my own code was doing. So let's call it something that actually means something. But see, I don't actually need to know this after place node. I don't. I need to know when I'm trying to cook the lumps into the ingots, because that's when it matters how many beacons are linked. At this point, who cares? It really doesn't matter. It's not doing anything other than making sure it works. Okay, let's fly back over here. I'm going to break you again. Sorry, bud. And then we're going to place you. Okay, and it found 4 beacons. Sweet. I'm not sure why I'm getting a printout of LS Crystal Furnace and LS Crystal Long Range. That means someplace I missed a print function in this. My guess is, yeah, there we go. A node name. Okay. So that works. It's finding 4 beacons, so that means it can cook at something power. But I don't have any form specs available for it. So I'm going to have to make one of those, I suppose. I just need the player name and this. I don't actually need this. So I'll just comment that out because I may want to see that at some point in the future. And it could be useful to me. So then guess I just need a form spec. Now, how do I display a form spec intelligently? Well, we use an on-right-click callback. And because ain't nobody got time to learn how to do all that again. I shouldn't say learn how to do it. I'm hopeless at form specs. My friend, form spec editor, is your friend. You have to use it. It's the best. It really is. Okay, so we have this whole form spec overview. Overview wrapper. I don't know if I care about the overview wrapper. I don't really care about any of this, honestly. I just want to know how I'm showing it. It was just with an on-right click, right? On-right click. Hey, there we go. We're checking if the player is the owner. Do we care about the player being the owner? I don't know, but we actually don't even want that. We want player name equals meta get string player name. Oh, but we already have player name from clicker get player name. So that's what would we call it if it's your node? Node owner? Sure. It really doesn't matter. I just need to compare that to player name to see if it's yours. So we just do if node owner equals player name. This is bear with me. I do a lot of stupid things. This game is really not intended to be multiplayer, but I'm writing the whole thing multiplayer compatible. That's why I have all of the beacons and the whole table, everything is based off the player name. So you could have two people playing in the same world, and they could build beacons near each other, but their beacons would only link to their own beacons. It wouldn't link to the other player's beacons, for good or for bad. That's the way it would work. That's why it's all linked in a table with the player name. Because if I didn't care about the player name, I could literally just be putting it all in as a key with the position, and then it would link to any other beacon, regardless of who placed it. But yeah, I didn't want that. So that's the only reason that all exists, is so it's multiplayer friendly, but it's not really intended to be a multiplayer game. Overall, it's really not meant to be. Okay, so then we're using a function to call the form spec, which makes sense because we're pulling in all kinds of data here. So we'll still do that. Of course, we're not going to call it farmhouse overview wrapper. We're going to go ahead and do local function furnace UI, because UI is shorter than form spec. I think all we need is position. We should be able to pull everything from the position. So we're going to go ahead and do local meta equals core get meta. And then we're going to do... Wait a second. Do I need to do that? I don't think so. Because I can pass the player name to this. Do I need position for anything? I really don't need the meta. Because I was going to use the meta to get the player name so I could get the information from this. But I already have the player name from on-right click clicker. So, yeah, I don't think I need that. But whatever. Well, we'll leave that in. It'll not be a good thing at some point, but for right now it won't matter. So then we're just going to do local beacon. Yeah, we'll just copy this code from right here. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay, and then we'll do local form spec equals, and then obviously it has to equal something. I have a form spec floating around in one of these for the, it's actually in a form specs file. Well, now should I put the furnace form spec in the form spec file? Because, that's what I did. I'm just going to copy the entirety of this. It's a lot of junk we don't care about, but I'm going to take this background out because the image doesn't exist anyways. Okay, we don't care about this var string. Var string doesn't exist. But beacon count does exist. So we will, oh, actually, we'll just use this right here. Beacon count. I don't think I need this line at all, quite honestly. And I don't need it indented. And it's not that. So we're going to call this furnace is linked to, it doesn't need to say other beacons because it's not a beacon itself. So it wouldn't really make sense to say other beacons when it's not a beacon. How is it an other beacon? It's just beacons. Oh, we have an error. Wow, what a surprise. Who could have seen that? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, who could have seen that coming? No, I can't actually do that because that doesn't show the form spec to the player ever. And we kind of need the player to see the form spec. But where do I actually do that? Here we go, course show form spec. Well, I could put that in the, could I? Yeah, I would just have to pass the clicker. Which, if I'm passing clicker, is there any point in passing player name? I mean, I could get the player name from the clicker. Do I need to return a form spec then? I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't think I return it then. I think I just do this and do core shower. Yeah. Core shower form spec clicker. It does need to have a name, which we'll just call furnace because that's what it is. And then the form spec's just form spec. Okay, why is this bugging out now? Oh, because I put it, well, that shouldn't matter. Oh, no, yeah, I guess it would matter. Okay. We'll see. Oh, it crashes. Invalid vector. Really? An invalid vector? Oh. Yeah, I suppose you can't really get meta from just nothing. You need to have a... Okay, well, maybe... Okay. Bad argument number 1. To show form spec. String expected got user data. Yes, because that shouldn't be clicker. That should be player name. Wait, so then why did I need clicker? I don't think I did. I think I'm just dumb. We don't care about the clicker. Clicker doesn't matter. Okay, one of these times it has to work. You can only make so many mistakes before you... Hey, furnace is linked to 4 beacons. There's no background on it. I'm going to put that back because it's impossible to read without it. Furnace is linked to 4 beacons. Sweet. There we go. At last. Now, I do need a way to show my player inventory and the furnace's inventory so I can take the metal lumps and put them in here and cook them. Yes. So much fun. I think I might have to change up something on this too then. Oh no, because you put it in, it's in what is it even called? On inventory something another. And then that would start a timer, and the timer would be entirely dependent on the number of linked beacons. So maybe we should figure that out. Also, I'm getting a whole bunch of printouts saying found 0 beacons, and I don't know what that's all about. Okay, so should do all kinds of advanced mathematics here. Cooking times in relation to number of links. Now, how many things are there to cook? That's the first question that I have to answer. Am I only cooking metal? Is that the only thing that this furnace is for, is turning metal lumps into metal ingots? If it is, I can just use a generic time and who cares? I shouldn't word it that way. I can just hard code everything and who cares? Because that's the only thing I can cook. But if I make it so you can get meat from them, the monsters that you're killing, then you could cook the meat and eat it. It wouldn't really make sense to take as long to cook a chunk of meat as it takes to, smelt a chunk of iron into an iron ingot. In which case, I would want this to be multipliers, which probably makes sense anyways. So, what are we going to cap out at? One link equals whatever the normal speed is. There's no benefit, but you can cook. If there's no links, there's no cooking. So I guess we'll start with that. 0 links equals 0 multiplier, which, as we all remember from math, 0 times any number is 0. So that's good to know. 1 link equals a 1x multiplier. Would you consider it a 0x multiplier? I don't know. I really don't know. Then 2 links. Now, we don't necessarily want to double it just because you have 2 links, because that's going to be way too much. Because there's also going to be 3 links. These really all should say links, shouldn't they? Other than 0, which unfortunately then kicks everything off and then doesn't line up perfect. I hate when that happens. So we're just going to put an extra space there to make it all line up. And then 4 or more links. 4 will be the fastest. So it doesn't matter if you have 4 or 27. 4 is the mostest highest that you ever get as a multiplier. So I'm thinking if there's 4 or more links, maybe we'll double it. So say a piece of an iron ingot cooks to, an iron lump cooks a metal lump. A metal lump cooks to a metal ingot, and we'll say it takes 10 seconds. If you have 4 more, it would only take 5 seconds, which is a huge decrease, huge gain to you. But that means you have to make more beacons close enough that they all can link to this furnace. Beacons are going to be expensive. They're going to require metal. So it's going to be a balancing game of, do I spend a lot of time cooking this metal down so I can cook metal faster? But that's going to use up a bunch of my crystals to make more beacons just so I can cook metal faster. How important is metal to me? Would I rather have more beacons? Would I rather have a faster furnace? You're going to have to weigh that out. So then, I don't know, 2 links. I want to have it so the more links you have, it's a better benefit. So maybe 1 or 2 links would only do like a 1.25 multiplier. So it's still not super great, It's only marginally faster, which would be, I don't know, I can't think on my feet like that. That doesn't even make sense, actually. If it's a 10-second, how am I multiplying it? That's wrong. I should be multiplying it by a fraction, shouldn't I? I should. Because this would mean, yeah, it should be a 0.5 multiplier to cook speed. Because that means it's cooking faster. So this would be like a 0.9. No, let's do like a 0.9. And then if you have 3 links, it'd be like a 0.75. I don't know. These numbers are all completely arbitrary. They don't really mean anything. It's just because I need to have values someplace so I know what's going on. Because otherwise I'm lost. So we're showing a form spec. The form spec now needs to have some inventory things. So let's do some inventory things. That's actually pretty easy. So I have so many games. Form spec editor, here we go. Form spec testing. Oh, hey, it has my ASRS mod up. Now, believe it or not, I actually have the form spec code right here ready to go. And I guess I can't really, can I comment this stuff out? I think so. Pretty sure? Or not. Wow, okay. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, let's just try this. I have a feeling I can't. Oh no, it works. So those boxes It updates real time, but I can't really show you both screens real time because, yeah, I can't. So all I need to do now is come over here, copy all of this, then come into here and delete all of that. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't play nice. Oops. It doesn't play nice with the quotes. So you do have to take those out. And then this, I can't pass up variables, so I'll just do that. Then I do have to get rid of all of the trailing, which makes it slightly annoying when it comes time to paste it back in, but it's worth it for the fact that it's an instant and real-time update. So now I can look at my form spec here and I can see exactly what my code is all doing, which is fantastic. So I can say, you know what, my text, why is my text area so far over? If my box is 11 by 5, why am I starting my text area at 3? Let's start my text area at 0.25. And then that kicks the text over to, I guess, 0.25. Because my background has -1 to it. So that's allowing me to have an offset. So that way I can put, I can put a border on it. And then I can still set everything else to 0 reference point. And that helps me have a border that can be decorated, pretty much. So then the top of this I could put to 0.25 as well. So now the text is 0.25 from the top and from the bottom. 7.5 width, which would be the entire span of it, and then 2.25 tall. And actually I could pull this over. So then I need to show some inventories, which of course I just deleted all of the inventory stuff out of here like an absolute moron. Because I guess I didn't need it. Except I kind of do need it. Fortunately, you know me, I got another mod loaded up in here ready to go that has an inventory in it. So, it's actually it's a whole straight on form spec. So all I have to do is find I have tooltips, that's right, that's helpful. But I actually don't care about any of that. All I care about is this. And then I'll just pop that in here, I suppose. And look at that. What do you know? I now have an inventory of the player's inventory. I don't know what 1 plus offset means. I don't think I want that. But I don't actually know what that does. And I don't want to display 8 by 4. We'll do 8 by 1. So that'll make it only display the top row of the player's inventory. And then this whole 3 by 1, we can change that to 0.25. So that'll put the inventory lined up to the text above it. And then this is the height on it, which if my inventory box is 5 tall, I guess I could put this at like 4. And that should, there we go. So this would be my top row of player inventory. I don't know how I feel about putting this on the side. The idea kind of was so you could have your mini map up here, and then you would have your hotbar visible down here, and then there'd be some HUD elements with like your health and your XP and whatever over here, but I don't know if we're going to do the whole XP and health thing at this point. That might be for a future time. But the beautiful thing about all this is I can change this position. I can say, you know what, I actually want the position to be there. And I actually want the anchor to be at 0.5, which then puts it to the center of the screen. Instead of having it at 1 and 1, which puts it to the side of the screen. So that's easy enough to change. I can change it at any time, put it wherever I want, so that doesn't matter. Then I do need the nodes inventory as well, which I don't think actually shows through correctly. But you know what? That's fine. We're going to grab that from here. And yeah, like I said, I think it won't display at all because none of that exists. But if I save it, yeah, I get nothing. The workaround for that, well, honestly, is to just use the player inventory again. Because then I at least get an inventory box. So that's what I'll do. And then I just have to remember to change these to the values I need. So the input will do, this will be our input. And then our output will be a 1 by 1. And then of course we do need to change the locations of these. So if this is my input, I thought there was some way you could do comments. But maybe not. I could have sworn there was a way to do it. Yeah, that's not doing anything. Maybe not. Okay, well, whatever. So this we would put up at, say, 2. Okay, well, 2's not high enough, so we'll put it up at 1. That should work. And then this one we would put at 1 as well, but then we'd bump it over to, like, 4. Nope, you know, actually we're going to put this down at 2, so it's lined up. That's not lined up. Is it 225? I think it is. If we change this to like 3. See, the thing is, the inventory slots. Okay, yeah, it is 2.5. So the spacing by default between inventories is 1/4 of a slot, which you'll now notice my beautiful form spec. I have 4 input slots, so I can put 4 stacks of metal lumps. It all cooks out to 1 output, which that kind of doesn't make a lot of sense, to be perfectly honest, because if I can put 4 stacks of 99 in, because I think I'm using a stack max of 99 because I don't know. That's what we do. But I can only cook 99 of them and then it stops because it has no room for the output. That really doesn't make a lot of sense. So it probably would make more sense to put this back to a 2x2 for the output as well. But now, of course, we notice it's all kind of messed up. So we're going to change the height on that to 1. Okay, now wait a second. Oh, because I have it at 1.25. All right, so now the height's matched. Spacing doesn't match. I think I want it to line up maybe to here. You know what? Maybe actually we'll change the output to be... That was the wrong number to change. Change the output to be 3x2. Yes, and then we just need to bump this over. I don't know, we'll try 6.5. I think 6.5 is the number we're looking for. Then, of course, we would put an arrow in the middle with some animation on it to show cook time. That becomes a problem because then I do need to be updating the form spec, which isn't really a problem because it is a function. So I can do like what I'm doing over wherever it is over here. I can have a wrapper function. Where is that? It's here someplace. It's here someplace. I promise. Here we go. The wrapper. So then we would, on right click, we would call this wrapper function, which just refreshes. Every 25 seconds it redisplays the form spec. You do need to store the player name with a value of true or false, so that way when the player exits the form spec, it sets this value to false, so that it doesn't just keep re-showing the form spec every quarter second, or however often you're having an update. Yeah, and that's just done in, I don't even know what that's done in, to be perfectly honest. Here we go, in order to receive players. Fields remove, it changes it to false. There's a fields quit or something that'll also changes it to false. I don't even know where that is. Does it not in a fields quit? It's supposed to. I don't know, maybe it doesn't. Fields remove. Okay, well that's interesting. Maybe that node was broken in the game from last year and you just had a spam click escape and then hope no you didn't escape the whole game. Who knows? It's very possible. Okay, well, so now I have a working UI. It's really not a working UI, but it's a UI. So I can just do this because I didn't change anything beyond this point, prior to this point, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then just do one of these numbers. And then just because I'm too lazy, we'll just do one of these numbers. And then we're going to have to look at the form spec. Not that, the form spec. Here we go. For the nodes inventory, that was node meta. Okay, yes, this is not going to be complicated at all. It will be, don't worry, because I don't know what any of this means. So this is going to be input. This is going to be output. And this is going to be player inv. Just so we know which line is which. So our input is going to be a node metadata. Actually, our input and output will both be node metadata. And that node metadata is spos, which is string position, which I believe, like an idiot, I'm manually creating that instead of doing position to string. What kind of a loser does something like that? So I will just go ahead and call it key, because I've been using key a lot for this. And that is core position to string with position. I'm assuming that is what I need. If not, that's kind of awkward. I do need to declare it as this, though. Wait, so I just put that... No, wait, I put that here, don't I? And there. And then inventory name will always be input and output on this. I don't know why this... Oh, because I think there's a search. And then inventory rows and index don't actually matter. That's always what it is. So that's cool, but now we do need to add in inventories to the node. So that way it has something to display. So in order to do that, I need to know how I put that in code, which I guess we just do like this. Easy enough. Local inventory, meta get inventory. I'm going to move that to here. I just like having all my locals defined next to each other. It looks pretty with the colors all matching, you know. We don't want storage and search, though. It should be inputs and outputs. Now, I don't know why this says 0. That seems a little peculiar to me. Yeah, why, huh? Don't I need to define those as the size? I think I do 4, because it's 4 slots. Pretty sure. I think the reason in ASRS it defines as 0 initially is because depending on settings, you can change how many show, I think. I think that's why that does that. I can remove this because that doesn't actually matter anymore. I will have to break my crystal furnace and then place a new one for that to take effect. Sort of. I can show you what I mean. So if I open the inventory on it now, string expected got nil. Okay, that's weird. Bad argument to line 3. I mean, I have a local form spec, and I'm trying to show a form spec, although I did have a bit of an error with that because I was trying to continue the line on. Okay, let's see if it works this time. Am I still using this spos? Yeah, I am, like a moron. I called it key. Remember, I called it key because I was using key elsewhere, and it would make more sense. And then I just Failed to use it. Hey, there we go. Furnace is linked to 4 beacons. My player inventory shows, of course, because I have a player inventory. And you can see how it mirrors from here and there. Also, for some reason, there's a lot of map get node metadata block not found happening right now. Which I don't know what any of that means. It could have something to do with the fact that this doesn't have inventories. Oh. Okay, well that's weird because after place node, I'm setting inventories on it. Also, I don't think I moved that furnace text to the right spot. Where was I locating that? Text area, 0.25, 0.25. I'm just going to go ahead and copy all of that text area. Oh, and you know what? I actually had changed this. So that was, otherwise it was putting it 1 line down, which there was no reason to do because there was no text on the first line. Okay, yeah. So what is wrong with key? Core position to string position. That should be right. I don't understand. I can highlight the text, which is useless, but whatever. Okay, it is printing through one other thing that's not block not found. But evidently it's really far up. Oh, wait, there it was. Found 0 beacons. I did all that scrolling for that. Oh, hey. Found 0 beacons. Okay, I don't know what's trying to find beacons because they're definitely there. So is key different than S position? Because if that's the case, that literally makes no sense. Why would you do that? Position.x, it's just comma separated. Why would that be the way you need to do this? Let's take a peeky look-see. Node meta. It's not even found. Oh, because I typed it wrong. I had mode meta. Yeah, that would prevent that. Node metadata, inventory locations. It's got, here we go. So node meta is XYZ comma delineated. Is that, I think that's the right term. To get any node metadata. There's also a current name. Oh no, wait, I just context. But I don't think I can do that because I'm calling it from a function. This would only work if the metadata was stored in the, or sorry, if the form spec was stored in the metadata of the node, which I don't like doing because then you have to break the node in order to update the form spec. Whereas this, you just change the code and then it rereads this code every time you see the form spec. But it looks like key isn't right, which is weird. So we're going to just do this just to see what it is. Print. Was it 8:18? Okay, only a couple minutes ago. Sorry about that. I don't know why OBS is crashing. When I was setting up the stream, it crashed like 8 times just trying to link the mind test window. So I had to restart my computer. And then I thought it was good, but clearly it just crashed. I don't know what's going on. Like, the system is not stressed in the least bit. There's so much RAM in this machine. I forget if it's 32 or 64 gigs. It ain't a RAM problem. It's got like 3 different hard drives. It ain't a storage problem. Hardwired network. It ain't a network problem. I don't know. Anyway, if we put something in here, it's going to be the meat. I don't think I need the metadata at all. All I need is a timer, honestly. So local timer equals core get node timer of the position. I do have the position right. Yep. Okay. And then we just do. Oh, you know what? I need to know how many linked beacons there are. So I do need to do this, which shouldn't be a problem because I have player name, right? Well, that's player. Player name is actually the player's name, is it not? I believe so. Yes. So I do need to do... I mean, I can put that right here. I could just do player, get player name. It'll work. Okay, so now I have my beacon count. So then, I guess I do need to know what my input is, huh? I actually don't know how I do that. I have local vessel input. So is input, I'm assuming input, stack get name, okay. I figured I needed something of that nature in here someplace. So we'll go ahead and do this, and then we'll do if input equals ls items metal lump, then timer start, and then some amount of time, which we now need to do some math. So we'll do local cook time equals, we'll just say that a metal lump takes 10 seconds. I don't know. But then we're going to, well, now how do I do the math for the beacon count? That needs to be some sort of a multiplied thing. I wanted to make it worth more the more you had. I can probably figure out the math for that. So we might need to do like a local multiplier. Multiplier. Local multiplier equals beacon count times, no, that's not right, is it? Because, no, it'd have to be divided by. Division by 0? That's undefined, right? It doesn't equal 0. It just equals nothing. Like nil. Not like 0, though. But then anything more than 4 links we wanted to treat as the same. I mean, I could... I'm not a big fan of this, but this would work. This is a stupid way to do this, but it'll work. Not a fan. Okay, local multiplier just equals nothing. And then we're going to do if beacon count equals 1, then multiplier equals 1. You can see where I'm going with this, right? Else if beacon count equals 2, then multiplier equals point whatever it was going to be, 0.9. This is such a stupid way of doing this. There's got to be a better way. Else if beacon count equals 3, then multiplier equals point, I think it was 7.5. Yeah. Maybe it changes like 8.5, so it's a little bit better. Maybe not though. I don't know. Also, I made a typo there. And then lastly, else if beacon count is greater than or equal to 4, then multiplier equals 0.5. Then we have our local cook time, which I guess we don't really need because we're already doing metal lump. In fact, I don't even need to do a multiplier, come to think of it. I could just put these as the straight up final cook time right here. Why do math if I'm already putting the value in? I don't know why I'm calling it multiplier, then I should have just called it cook time. Yeah, we're going to change every single instance of multiplier to cook time. I'm confused as to why... Oh, wow, this is full of spelling errors. Oh, it's kind of horrible. Yeah, and then beacon count. A couple of those are wrong. Okay, so if there's one beacon, cook time is going to be 8. If there's 2 beacons, we're going to drop it down to 9. If you have 3 beacons, we're going to drop it down to 7.5. And if you have 4 or more beacons, it'll be 5 seconds. And then timer start. Oh, actually, you know what I got to do? End. And then timer start cook time. That's such a inefficient way of doing this. And then if I had an input of something else, I would just copy this whole bit, change this end to an else if, and then else if ls items meat lump, then and all the exact same garbage. Okay, now that does mean I need to have an on timer to actually do something. On timer equals position, equals function position. And then for the time being, we're just going to do this. Times, not fimes, times up. Because time's up for the stream. Ooh, I do not know what that is. But let's make sure it's actually working before we do that. So we come back here. I need to make sure I can see my output because that's helpful to me. Play game. Oh, interesting. Line 85, there's an error that crashes it. Really? That's weird. No, yeah, that's right. This end goes to that. What's the error here? Unexpected symbol near comma. Huh? What do you mean unexpected symbol near comma? Indentation wise, everything looks right. Okay, let's... Time to index global time, line 81. Oh, yeah, because it was called timer, wasn't it? You could call it anything you want. You could call it potato fries if you wanted. Okay. Oh, no, it stole all my metal. Bro, that's not cool. Where'd all my metal lumps go? Dog, you stole all my metal. Good thing I can cheat. Give me ls items metal lump 45. Just cause. I'm feeling like 45 is a good number. Okay. Okay, found 4 beacons. So in 5 seconds, it should say time's up. No, I'm getting all these found 0 beacons. I don't know what's looking for beacons. Maybe the torches are. I don't know. On the timer, then we would be, I guess, taking one away from the input, putting one to the output, and then starting it all over again, which I don't really know how we do that, because I don't really feel like I want to be copying all of this to rerun the timer every time. But I think that's what I have to do, because I need to make sure on the timer that the beacon count is still the same. But I guess that's a problem for another day for future me, because it's time for me to wrap things up here. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully, quality was pretty decent, other than the one random crash we had. I don't know what that's all about. No stream tomorrow. Thursday and Friday streams. Probably nothing on the weekend, but who knows? We'll see. Yeah, that's going to be it. So, thanks for watching. There'll be another stream soon. If you're interested in the code, it is all available online on Codeberg. It should be linked in the description here. Hopefully. Pretty sure it's linked in the description. I'll be updating this in like 5 minutes after the stream ends, so you can see the latest revision of the code and fool around with it, steal assets for your own game if you for some reason wanted to steal the assets. I don't know why, they're really not that great, and most of them are actually available outside of this game because I stole them for myself from other games or mods. But hey, yeah, you want it, it's there. Although the licensing information is a bit so right now. That all has to be updated. Although for the most part, it's all my own content, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. Thanks for watching, and I will see you real soon.